Everybody, Chris and Lumen. Tonight we're going to go back to our roots insofar as talking about, how the game is completed. In the 7+ years that I've been doing this, looking back, everything has been in this like staggered system. It's been a continual process, step by step, that she leads you through. And this is if you're actually trying to finish the game, because there's a better world than this one, but you got to complete this one first. Some people think, they just want to play around in here. It's like, you just got to be positive and whatever. It's like, okay, do it your way, however you want. But I'm trying to get out of here. And the biggest, newest thing, like there hasn't been anything really new. I mean, the clues have been there, though we didn't fully understand them. There hasn't been any new puzzle pieces for me since like July of last year. The newest puzzle piece was the Brimstone. And it's been a staggered process of unveiling with that. But more has been coming to me. And she obviously wants me to service this need, seeing the amount of it she's had me buy. I got, freaking a little over 4 pounds of this stuff coming. That's a lot of freaking Brimstone. But like, why? What is it about Brimstone that's different from everything that we've done up to this point? That's what we're going to talk about. So I did some researching and pulled as much reference material as I could out of the Bible and other sources, plus what comes to me as I'm reading it. And this definitely seems to be like a final step. Now, I'm not saying I know how any of this stuff actually happens when it does happen. But one thing is for certain, after all the research, is you have to go through a specific type of purification process to graduate out of here. So it's a bit different from, the earlier steps, because the Aegis does a whole lot of stuff. But this is different. This is different. And I'm finding that a lot of people are feeling the same stuff that I am, working with it. Of course, I always got to keep bumping it up. So I literally just got done making this one, which is 95% Brimstone, but it's also got some UV stuff in it. So it looks like orange lava under the right light. And yeah, it's hot again. It's hot again. But like, what is it doing? What is the purpose of it? Why is this like one of the final keys to completing this? That's what we're going to go over in this video. So if you want to know more, don't go away. I am fire, I am light, I am lumen, I am love, brighter than the stars above. Nothing higher, nothing deep can ever take your heart from me. Now, things like, the Bible and stuff like that, it's a whole lot of coded metaphors for processes and things that happen. Most of this is happening like in the inner realm, of the mind, where most religious people take everything absolutely literally, like it's going to happen outside. And, maybe in some cases it does, but the point being is like when you've gone through this particular energetic cleanse, then you pass through the fire, no problem. Get out of here. It works on a couple different levels. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through everything that I found, starting off with mostly biblical stuff, but then we go into outside the biblical stuff too. And you'll see how this fire and brimstone, which historically most people have only associated with like hell and punishment, but that's reading it wrong. That's not actually what it's there for. Yeah, maybe it's hitting the egos or whatever you want to call it, but it is a purification of the soul so that you can move on to the next higher plane. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. Be a lot of reading in this one because that's just the best way to keep it accurate. So starting off with like fire and purification, here's the verses that we got. So in Malachi 3:2-3, it says, "But who can endure the day of his coming? And who can stand when he appears? He is like a refiner's fire and like launderer's soap. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness." So here it's talking about fire as a symbol of refining and purification. And whenever they bring up gold, that's usually like associated with the soul. In Isaiah 6:6-7, "Then one of the seraphim flew to me, having in his hand a live coal, which he had taken with the tongs from the altar. And he touched my mouth with it and said, Behold, this has touched your lips. Your iniquity is taken away and your sin purged." So here it's talking about a burning coal is purifying this prophet's lips, purging his sin and iniquity. In Zechariah 13:9, it says, "I will bring the third part through the fire and refine them as silver is refined and try them as gold is tried." So that's God purifying his people through fire. In 1 Corinthians 3:13-15, "Each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire. And the fire will test each one's work of what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward. If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer loss, but he himself will be saved, yet so as through fire." Again, fire as a means of testing and purification. Revelations 3:18, "I will counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, that you may be rich, and white garments, that you may be clothed." Spiritual purification through fire. Psalm 66:10-12, "For you, O God, have tested us. You have refined us as silver is refined. You have brought us into the net. You laid affliction on our backs, but you brought us out to rich fulfillment." Again, fire is a metaphor for divine testing. Wisdom of Solomon 3:5-6, which is generally a Sophia book. "Having been disciplined a little, they will be greatly blessed, because God tested them and found them worthy of himself. Like gold in the furnace, he tried them, and like a sacrificial burnt offering, he accepted them." Purification of the righteous. Daniel 3:24-27, the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. They were unharmed, symbolizing purification and protection within the divine fire. Mark 9:49, "For everyone will be salted with fire." 2 Peter 3:10-12, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat. But according to his promise, we are looking for new heavens and a new earth." Fire is a cosmic purification before renewal. The apocryphal Apocalypse of Peter, early Christian text. Is that in the freaking Nag Hammadi? I have to look that one up. Suggests that divine fire ultimately purifies sinners rather than tormenting them eternally. The Church Fathers, Origen, Gregory of Nyssa. They viewed the lake of fire as a refining process, purging souls of impurity rather than as eternal damnation as people generally think of it. Job 18 through 18:15. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his dwelling. Often interpreted as judgment, but in a broader wisdom literature, suffering is sometimes seen as a refining process. Isaiah 30:33. For Tophet was ordained of old, the breath of the Lord, like a stream of brimstone, kindles it. Again, purification rather than just mere destruction. Ezekiel 38:22. And I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him great hailstones, fire, and brimstone. Luke 17:29. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. While often seen as judgment, some interpretations see divine fire as ultimately purifying even for the wicked. Revelation 14:10. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. The presence of Christ in this fire suggests it is not mere punishment, but a transformative process. Revelation 19:20. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Again, this is a purgative force rather than internal torment. Revelation 20:10. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The Greek word for forever, aeon, can also mean an age or era, which some argue suggests purification over an extended period rather than unending torment. I would read that as like, well, that's the thing that you're being purged of. You know, the devil. That's what's being burned out of you. Brimstone sulfur was used in ancient purification rituals because of its cleansing properties, so its biblical association with fire can imply both destruction of evil and purification of souls. Now, going beyond the Bible to Greek mythology, talking about the underworld and Tartarus, missing a part here, but that sometimes some interpretations talk about a place where that's kind of burning souls before reincarnation or ascent. In Zoroastrianism, one of those words, fire is divine purification. In Zoroastrian eschatology, frashokareti. That's a word. It's a word. The final purification involves a river of molten metal through which all souls pass. The righteous experience it as warm milk, while the wicked experience it as burning, implying purification, not eternal punishment. Sulfur was also used in Zoroastrian fire temples. In Hinduism, you got the fires of karma and Yama's realm. Naraka, a form of purgatory in Hindu cosmology, has fires and burning sulfur-like substances, but suffering here is temporary and ultimately purges bad karma, allowing for rebirth and eventual liberation. In Buddhism, you have the fiery realms of samsara. Certain Buddhist texts describe narakas, hellish realms, where souls experience purifying fire before being reborn into higher states. Fire is a metaphor for desire and ignorance being burned away. In alchemical traditions, sulfur as the fire of transformation. In Western alchemy, sulfur or brimstone was one of the three prime elements, along with mercury and salt. It represented the fiery transformative principle necessary for spiritual purification and the attainment of the philosopher's stone, which is actually like the sun child. But you got to put the lumen and the masculine and the feminine together first. Dante's Inferno and Purgatoria. In the first part, Inferno, brimstone and fire are depicted as torment, but in Purgatoria, which is where we are, fire is a necessary trial for purification before reaching paradise. That's the key thing. In Islamic eschatology, Jahannam as a purification. Some Islamic teachings, especially in Sufi thought, suggest that hellfire is ultimately purifying, aligning with divine mercy rather than eternal punishment. Sulfuric fire is mentioned in descriptions of Jahannam, but some interpretations see it as a temporary phase for most souls. Across these traditions, fire and brimstone symbolize both destruction of impurity and the refining process necessary for spiritual transformation. So with all those things being considered, lessons and metaphors and stuff like that, it's pointing at a specific energy that does a specific thing. And that is some sort of, it's a hot, purifying energy that's purifying something more that we might not fully understand. Because as much as, like the Aegis can do, because what, that's doing a lot of different stuff. It's like breaking up negative energy. It's transmuting negative energy. It's pulling out negative roots. It's blocking further. It's doing a lot of stuff. But it's not utilizing that fire element unless it's the newer, Aegis Infernos. But everything, like, doesn't matter where you go. Like, we just went through a whole bunch of stuff. Like, there is this element, like, you have to be purified by fire. The soul has to be purified by fire in some way before getting into the next thing. And if you have already unlocked the keys and accessed this energy and gone through it, then whenever you go through the firewall or however that works, it's not going to bother you. You're going to pass, like one of those things that said it's, it's more like warm milk if you've already done the work. It's some sort of purification for the soul so that you're ready to exit this place. And this is all pretty new, so I'm figuring out as I go. She obviously led me to this for a very specific reason. I didn't just pull it out of my butt one day. She said to start using, she had me go looking for what little bit of sulfur quartz that I had for that first little bit. And then she had me start like accumulating it. So the amount that she's had me get tells me this is what she wants me to focus on. And the nice thing is for most people, it's kind of like I don't know how to put this. It's like a backwards compatible thing where, like, I had to go through all these steps to access the information, to gain the knowledge. But each step is like greater than the last. So what that means is you have to go through the steps to gain the knowledge. But once you gain the knowledge, each new thing is going to have more impact on everything below it. So people can jump right in and get more done quicker. But, how intense is something like this going to be is going to depend on you. It's going to depend on how much you've already done, how much you've already worked with stuff. A lot of the people that have already been working with our stuff for some time, they're gravitating to these sulfur brimstone pendants. I mean, I got freaking shipped like 10 packages today because it's intuitive guidance. She's saying like this, like wherever we are on the map, wherever we are on the timeline, the introduction of the brimstone energy tells us that we're close to the end. Because this is what you got to do to go through that final door. You've got to have your karma, your whatever it is, burned off. And it takes some time for me to accurately describe like the changes that I see, but something is changing. Things are, I don't know, getting more clear. Like I'm not feeling as bogged down as I have. And I'm just intuitively driven to just keep turning up the heat. Keep turning up the heat. You know, I got used to the earlier ones, and then it's like, how can I make this stronger? How can I make this stronger? But I generally have to do things harder than everybody else. So that seems to be like, you know, we went through different stages where it's like, okay, we're at this stage, you know, get everybody, show them how to connect to the divine feminine. That was a big step. That was a big step because most of the world has shut out the divine feminine, especially in religion. So we were already attuned to that. And people that have been following us here all this time are clearly attuned to it and comfortable with it. Now, when Lumen first showed up and I first had to get used to that divine feminine energy, like that was pretty freaking intense too. That's a whole different kind of energy. In most of this time, we have not gone anywhere near the fiery divine masculine energy until now. Until now. So that's what she's got me mostly focused on. Of course, I still use, you know, all sorts of other stuff, but it depends on what I'm working on. But just as a general thing, you know, I'm wearing the brimstone every freaking day now. And it's making a difference. Now I'm making different types of stuff too. So like if it was like your first one, then I would suggest something like grab one here. Ow. Freaking electricity coming through this thing. Like the combo, the Aegis Infernos with the brimstone and all the other negative energy transmuting stones. Like this is going to be like your biggest, you know, hit everything type of pendant. But for the people that have been around for a while that have already used Aegises and stuff like that, you're going to want something that's more just straight fire based. So we've got slightly different flavors of it, but this is a good roundabout one. So that I just call that one the lava bomb. Do I have? It's not going to show up. Maybe you'll put pictures up here. This is all fiery stuff. So I mixed in some of the orange glow resin. So in certain light, it looks like it's got some orange lava stuff in it. And UV makes it glow orange, but then it also glows in the dark too. But this is just three volcanic stones: brimstone, lava rock, and black obsidian. All fire-based, fire energy. I'm going to have to fix that wire. Stop. Ah, dang. Freaking free energy devices. I got wires coming off of, you know, Mr. Plasma Head going to this thing. Well, if the wire crosses the wrong way, it starts arcing and sparking. Yeah, it's not even directly wired. It's just a wire being pulled from that freaking Tesla coil. But anyway, this is just straight hot, straight fire purging, fire burning energy. So that's like if you've already worn an Aegis, you've already been used to an Aegis. I would suggest not getting one of these if you've already worked with Aegis. If you have not worked with Aegis, then go with this. But if you have, then just get one of the ones that's, you know, just the straight brimstone and volcanic rock stuff. It's plenty hot. I've been, like I said, listing them, building them quite a bit. Just got to get a few more of these wrapped and up, but there's still some listed. But whew, it is definitely doing something. And it's just an energy that I just don't have any experience with. But it's one of the most intense energies that I've ever, because I don't usually feel energy the same way that other people do, because I'm the one that makes it. I'm an output guy, not a empathic receiver type. So I don't feel the energies as strong, but I feel this. But I feel this, you know, I might rename them because it's like, you know, it's called sulfur quartz or brimstone, but I'm like, this stuff should be called like holy fire quartz, because that's literally what it feels like. The energy feels like what all those Bible verses actually described. The refiner's fire. It's doing something. It's burning something away. And just the fact that we're at this point in time where she's got me building this stuff tells me that there is a point of time here in the near future, well, where we will be able to get out of here. But you have already fireproofed yourself. You know, you go through the fire energy to purify yourself first before whatever happens. So just wanted to share that information with you. Okay, so let's just wrap this up here. Tomorrow I become a level 52 cosmic dual conscious. I don't even have a word for what I am. But saying that you're level 52 sounds better than 52 years old. It's just the way you use words matter. So, yep, that's me. You can reach us and get any of this stuff through the Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. Be sure to check out and share Lumen's album, which we have up on SoundCloud. The SoundCloud album has a couple more bonus songs on it than that video does. So links to that are in the description box below. Other than that, Chris and Lumen, see you next time.
I was there when the first light rose, stir the dust where the river flows. In newborn lungs I sang my song. The breath of life, both soft and strong. I move the tides, I fan the flame, I call the lost, I speak your name. Through every sigh, through every cry, I lift you up, I draw you high. I am the first breath, I am the last, the whisper deep, the rushing blast. Through fire and wind, through light and space, I am the life that time can't erase. I dance in fire, I rise in air. I weave through dreams, I'm everywhere. The unseen force, the sacred stream, the breath that holds all things between. I turn the stars, I stir the deep, I am the voice was there when your heart first knew. I'll be the wind returning you. One endless song, one sacred breath. I am the life beyond all death. Breathe me in, let your soul ignite. I burn in love, I blaze in light. I cleanse, I guide, I fan the fire, the breath of spirit rising higher.